is a 3D printed steak. I'm about to play a video of how they made this. They are trying to redefine meat. This is one of the biggest agendas I see right now. Take a look at this.
Your steak could soon be 3D printed. That's if you live in Europe. Israeli company Redefining Meat has struck a partnership with importer Geraldi Meats to drive European distribution of its new meat steak cuts. The startup is hoping to establish its products as an alternative to conventionally produced meat.
A library of a few different slabs. I can choose each one of them and I can adjust it accordingly. I can define the amount of marbling, the internal fat or the external fat.
This is a 3D printed steak.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha Rakah Kodash Ma'amath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elders as well, Aharwan Ban Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwafim, and children that believe in truth and sincerity. And as you can see, all right, 3D printed meat. All right, as brothers who are know, brothers, sisters, those who have been listening and learning, all right, you know, or if you haven't known or have heard, what is the guy, Bill Hates, all right, Bill Nye the Science Guy, the Gates character, he has the patent on artificial meats. So this is what's coming to the forefront, you know, from this diabolical demon. One of the scriptures that came to mind was Ezekiel 4 and verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And this is what the Lord foretold us, all right, that what we'll be eating, our defiled bread among the Gentiles, all right. When you look at this diabolical demon, how this place is more wicked than ever before, all right, compared to all the other past captivities, this tops it all right, as this pretty much them all bottled in one, all right. But this diabolical demon is it would no flesh be saved, as the scriptures say, all right. You know, the Lord says what we shall eat our bread defiled among the Gentiles, but goddamn, you know, and this is where we are in the times of the end, to where this devil is really showing his horns. And we really have to take an account of what the dietary laws, when it comes to the Lord, what to eat, what not to eat. As the ancient prophets of old, they rather died than to eat certain things, all right, like pork, which was abominable to our customs. You know, they rather died than to eat pork and to speak Greek. You know, do things that were outside of our customs, ultimately being a point. From there, I want to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right, and that's ultimately why the Lord is speeding up the times. You have these other nations implementing systems that equate to their digital currencies, ultimately to usher in the MOTB. You know, Revelations 13:15 on down, which ultimately has to come to pass and be brought forth, all right, due to what the fulfillment of prophecy, all right, as the scriptures say it, you know, that's what has to come to pass. It has to be made mandatory that the RFID microchip, being the MOTB, it has to be made mandatory upon all flesh, upon the world. And we seeing that approaching, all right, we seeing that being established as what this devil is working a great works in wickedness. According to Job, 9:24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. But just going to the statement I made on how we have to prevent ourselves from eating and abstaining from these things, because it's ultimately their way of what depopulation. All right, their depopulation plan that equates with their new world order, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, their global reset. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6. And I'll start at verse... I start at verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, Salakia, but for a chastening of our nation. Right, so the Lord love us and he chasten us as sons. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. Right, because what the wicked cease from troubling. When the Lord cut them off from being wicked, pertaining to his peculiar people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites of the Holy Bible. The Lord requires a certain standard for our people. So when we go off, we get judged accordingly, because the law was given to us by way of Moses. All right, but our people still crucify the laws, statute, commandments of the Lord today afresh. All right, today, all right, day for day. But we're in the times where the Lord is not going to prolong his judgments any longer. That's why he has this diabolical demon, which is his sword, according to the book of Psalms. All right, printing 3D meat. All right, completely giving you artificial everything, artificial intelligence, artificial the metaverse, artificial everything, and even things for you to consume. Again, it would no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, the Lord's going to speed up the times, because as much as this devil put forth wickedness and work of evil work, the Lord is going to save his peculiar people, his remnant. And it's back in 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 14. For not as with other nations, right, when it comes to the chastening of the Lord, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, right? He take his time and let them bottle it all up so he can put forth righteous indignation, just like he's going to do Esau, Edom. Verse 15, lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. Right? The daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, her sins has reached up to the heavens. They will heal Babylon, but it can't be healed. Roughly paraphrasing. And this verse 16, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doeth he never forsake his people. But let this that we had spoken be for a warning unto us, and now will we come to the dark declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. He was forced to eat swine's flesh, something that's contrary to our customs. Just as a 3D printed meats, just as a lot of these other abominable things. And they try to make it as if, it's a lot of things going on with the cattle, which it is, because they're doing it to the cattle. They don't let the land rest. They don't keep the laws of the Lord and the laws of the land by way of our Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of heaven and earth. So the cattle is altered. And everybody, pretty much majority of the people, eat to feel good and not eat for longevity, for life, so to speak. They eat for the taste, not for their health. So, pretty much the people taste buds are altered, as well. So you can consume something. I remember back, years ago growing up, they had the McDonald's when the whole quote unquote conspiracies come about. McDonald's had put out about the pink slime and things like that, to where the people are always and been consuming things and been tested as lab rats by this diabolical demon. That's why he has to get put out the way. His wickedness in general, but this topic more so pertaining to the food, the things that he's trying to make us consume, all right, being that we go to the heathen for the one of all things, all right, for hunger, thirst. This is back in 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 19. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously, right, the elderly man, Eleazar, all right, but he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. So he spit it out and wanted to die a glorious death. Verse 21, but they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. Right? He would think he was go be able to take something and take something and consume it that wasn't pork and trick, do like a trickery and get away with it to find favor. But he began to consider this discreetly within himself, and as became his age and the excellency of his ancient years and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come in his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by Yahweh, therefore he answered accordingly and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. And I give you the thought of how we got to stand and fight for our laws in this time more than ever, man, as we get closer to the end, because the wickedness is going to exceedingly be great. All right, what is going to lead to what? The famine of the word, the Lord hiding his men, all right, protecting his men, lifting up that standard, and it brings you to the thought of Moses, all right, how honorable Moses was being under the Pharaoh, all right, and the spirit that the Lord put upon Moses to still be for his people, even being under the Pharaoh. Same as Daniel, I believe, under the king of Babylon. So again, this devil's printing 3D printed meat, all right? He has to be done away with. He has to go into slavery, according to Revelations 13, verse 9 and 10. Thus saith the Lord. Shalom, Habatha, and DTA. To the next one.